Think about your favorite fictional character. It might be someone from a movie like James Bond, or maybe someone from an animated series like Batman. Whoever it might be, unless it's Deadpool, you've probably thought of an introverted person. You see them as being so great, so cool and charismatic, the ideal to be in life from certain perspectives. Yet you still keep using the excuse that you can't have a great social life because you're an introvert. This is not about being an introvert. These characters prove it to you that they can be introverted and still be extremely cool, maybe even cooler than extroverted people. Yet you still believing that same lie all over again. Oh, but I'm an introvert, oh, but I'm an introvert. Being an introvert is not the problem, it's even an asset in my opinion. The problem is that you are an insecure person. Your insecurities and anxieties, they are masquerading as introversion. So hopefully now you believe me that being an introvert doesn't have to be horrible. Being an introvert doesn't have to mean that you can't develop your social skills properly. This was a coping mechanism I used for a long time. That yeah, I'm an introvert, so I'm not gonna have the social skills of an extroverted person because I'm not exposed to social situations that much and all that BS. It was all a lie. There are introverts with fantastic social skills. There are extroverts with, they are obviously exposed to the social situations more. They have a bigger chance of gaining social skills, but some of them maybe they don't have such a great social experience. Maybe they seem so chatty and open and they open up easier than an introvert, but maybe they just always compare themselves with others. Maybe they are so envious and jealous all the time. These are things we can't really know for sure. We only see the facade in other people, and we compare their facades with what you actually feel inside. But you can't really know what another person is feeling inside truly. You only see your projection of who they actually are and how they are actually feeling. So, being an introvert is no excuse for you to suck socially. It's just a symptom of being insecure. It's a symptom of social anxiety and of bigger problems related to self-esteem, confidence, and basically being inauthentic. This encapsulates everything. But the bright side here is that you have the ability to be like that. I don't want to encourage you to compare yourself with a movie character and, to start thinking that you can be as a fictional character is, because life is very different than that. But I'm sure you have friends like this as well. Friends that seem pretty introverted. They don't go out all the time and spend all their time around people. Yet they just seem to have it so easily and they are naturally charismatic socially, despite the fact that you would still label them as an introvert. So you see proof around you all the time. Being an introvert doesn't limit your life to be this good socially, right? It's not a wall. There is no wall. The only wall is your perception, your limiting beliefs. Now, of course, if you are an introvert, you will choose to spend more time alone. Yes, that's perfectly fine. You might choose to be more reserved socially, to not talk as much, not open up as easy as extroverts. But ultimately, it has to be a choice. Because if you feel the resistance to talk, that's again a sign of insecurity, a sign of social anxiety. Unless you had any of these things, if you were perfectly mentally healthy, you could just say whatever you wanted to say. And you could still choose to be quiet, yes, but when it's a choice, that's perfect. When it's an obligation and you don't have a choice but to be quiet because you fear judgment and you fear them finding out this thing about you and laughing and all that stuff, that's a red flag. That's something to work on right there. Looking back at my life, I can label myself as having been a shy person for most of it. And people always told me, like, how can you be like that because you look good and stuff like that? But it's really not about that. Your inner experience is all that matters. If you think you suck, if you think that you are not worthy, it doesn't matter. You can be the most jacked person, the most handsome model looking person, and you will still feel horrible. It's all about how you see the world. But the bright side of that is that you don't have to attach anything to the way you look. Because again, it's all about how you're feeling. You can attract a great partner even if you don't look the best, but if you are a beautiful person on the inside. Of course, you might have limitations, and looking good gets your foot through the door, but after a while your insecurities start showing, and the other people, not necessarily a romantic partner, but even a potential best friend, even a potential group of nice friends, they will see this in you. They will see that you are an insecure person. But on the other side, if you are secure and authentic and you are just able to socialize properly like a normal human being, people appreciate that. And they don't care that maybe you don't look like a model. It doesn't matter as much as people think. It's just one of those coping mechanisms, in my opinion. It's an excuse just as big as this one that, oh, but I'm an introvert, so I can't have great social skills. No, they are two completely different things. Looks and the way you truly are on the inside, your personality, are two different things, and they don't matter as much as you believe. And then again, all these traits like being shy and reserved, I don't really think they are character traits. I would rather put them up there with diseases, with mental health issues. Because if you're mentally healthy, you are not going to be shy. Being shy what being shy says about you is that you are insecure. Being insecure, as we all know, is not a sign of great mental health. So stop using and viewing these traits as being normal. Stop labeling yourself as being a shy person. Because it's not something, you were not meant to be like this, you know? A lot of the shy, introverted people are not necessarily that awkward. They just trained themselves to be like that. If you identify with this, you have probably put so much work into training yourself to be reserved. All of that just to avoid discomfort. All of that just due to the fear of judgment, the fear that other people might laugh at you. So what if they do? Are you a baby? Do you really think the world will crumble if they laugh at you once, if they don't completely validate your opinions? These things are so insignificant once you are able to zoom out, to step out of all of that anxiety and fear, and you gain such a more clear perspective over life, over interactions. And do you want to know how it feels? That voice is not so persistent. That voice is not comparing you all the time to others and outlining your flaws and comparing your flaws to their best traits that you see maybe in an Instagram picture once in a while. That voice is not so prominent. More often than not, it's not even there at all. All of these comparisons and everything that creates insecurity is just drama, useless drama. And a mentally healthy life, from the social perspective, has none of this drama. You are calm, you are relaxed. Of course, you are not in Zen mode, having absolutely no thoughts, as you might hear some people talk about online. That's pretty unachievable if you ask me. I don't really believe that's true. But you can definitely not have that voice comparing you to other persons all the time. So a good question to audit in your life is, what's really holding me back? What am I really so afraid of? Is the judgment of others really gonna make such a big change in my life? Is the approval of others really going to enhance me? Visualize yourself getting all the approval in the world. You would still be insecure. Yeah, you might be joyful and high on dopamine for a while, but your insecurities will still return. If everyone in the world validates you for the thing you fear the most, you will still fear a version of that thing. Unless you put in the work, unless you work on it. So chasing approval leads nowhere. Chasing approval will never give you satisfaction on the long term. Maybe it might give you short bits of satisfaction, just like you get a like on social media, but it's nothing more than that really. So then, stop working on your social skills. Stop acknowledging the term of social skills as something that you have to have, and start working on raising your level of self-esteem. Be proud of being who you really are. Be grounded into who you really are, into your true preferences, into maybe what you want to say, maybe disrupting the pattern of the conversation, taking ownership of telling your friends stories of places you've been and thoughts you've had and jokes that pop up in your mind at random moments. Social skills won't get you anywhere unless you are first authentic, or at least more authentic, not always playing up to this character that you just know does pretty good socially. No, fuck that character, just be who you want to be. Be who you feel like being. And then you can learn social skills as well. I hope I managed to slightly shift your perspective now, to slightly brainwash you. And hopefully you don't put extroverts on a pedestal anymore. Extroverts might actually have a worse social experience than you. You just can't see it. I mean, hopefully now you can see it and now you understand it better. Be proud to be an introvert. If that's the real you, be proud to be an introvert. But don't be shy anymore. Don't be reserved anymore. Work on unleashing what's truly there, because your authentic charisma, your authentic humor, all the socially acceptable traits you desire are already in there inside of you. Stop resisting them. Stop fearing them. Put in the work, and I really hope you will reach this state of no social drama, no inner drama, being calm, relaxed, enjoying your experience alive. That's how you are meant to feel. And if you want personal guidance from me, I have a link in the description and you can book a coaching call with me. And I'll do my best to help you personally.